Okay, and hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with crank.com and with That Metal Station. And today I'm getting to have a chat with vocalist Scott Lewis from death metal titans Carnifex, who are due to release Graveside Confessions 3rd of September through Nuclear Blast. Scott, cheers for joining me, man. This is an absolute pleasure. I've been a fan of your music for a while. What was it like?
Thanks for having me, Jay.
Nah, man, it's really, really cool to chat with you. I'm sitting here with my Carnifex moss shorts on, man. I've been digging your music
Wonderful
for quite a while, man. And this album, it is an absolute stomper, man. Also kind of has those reminiscences to the old school death metal as well. What was it like making this album?
Well, it was a trip, to be honest with you. We've been a band for a while and we've done a bunch of records, but we've never done a record through a pandemic before. So I was glad that we had been a band as long as we were, because I will say, props to all the guys in the band. We went through some tough shit and everyone kept their head, everyone stayed okay. Yeah, stuff sucks, but we need to focus on the record and make sure it's good and make sure that when we come on the other end of this thing, we're going to have something to be proud of and not regret. So it was really a great time for us to hunker down and focus on trying to write a record that we loved and a record for the fans. And that was really what it was about. I think on the last record, we had definitely been considering the industry at large or critics or kind of breaking that glass ceiling of deathcore and death metal and trying to get to that next level, get that Slipknot tour, get that Lamb of God tour. But on this record, we really didn't have any of those aspirations. It was more about trying to find the joy of the studio and the joy of the band and just have fun with our bandmates and write a record that we knew our audience would love.
Yeah. So what was the songwriting process like, being that you were at home? How did that all go? Do you think it helped with the being able to do a lot of it in-house and over mediums like this with the band?
It did. Thankfully, Sean and I only live about 10 minutes apart. And Sean's main writer in the band. So for the majority of the time, he and I were able to just work together here in the studio. So we were really, really fortunate to have that and not be separated by computer or screen or anything like that. And then having Corey and Fred in Arizona, they came out just about every month for a weekend, and we'd all kind of convene and work on it. So really it was about just, I think, staying focused. I think that focus on the record and knowing, look, records take a long time, but they're worth it in the end, in spite of not having touring and all that other stuff. I don't know. It was really just what was getting us through, to be honest.
Yeah, and that opening track, Graveside Confessions, man, that hits really bloody hard as well. Tell us a little bit about that opening track, man.
Well, I think that was actually the 6th or 7th song that we wrote. And, kind of going back to this record being different, because we had so much time where we weren't going on the road, we never really had that long of a sustained writing period before. So we kind of got this momentum, going, where we were just kind of getting pretty good material. And it was in that time that Graveside Confessions came out. Corey and Sean wrote that one. And it was, as soon as I heard it, I was like, I think not only is this the title track, but I think we need to open the record with this one, because on the last couple of records, we had really been doing kind of big epic openers to kick the record off. And we're kind of just throwing everything out the window. And so we said, no, let's just go straight for the throat right out of the gate. Who needs a big epic intro? Let's just get to it, And so that was really where that came from. And then I think lyrically, once I came up with the title and had the lyrics pretty much written, I knew, this is kind of encompasses the theme for the album the best. And that's when we knew it was going to also be the title track.
Yeah, and I like the artwork, the album art. Tell us a little bit about that, because that matches perfectly with this album for sure.
Right, very bleak. Yeah, we're working with God Machine again. He's one of my favorite artists, and he's done 2 covers for us in the past. And he's done, I couldn't even tell you how many T-shirts for us. But really, he's a friend. He's someone I really enjoy working with. He loves the band. He loves working with the band, and so it was kind of it was almost like I had the idea second and we knew who we wanted to work with first. We're like, you know what? we just need to work with GM again. Like, that's just the way to go. And, I sent him the title and some lyrics and some shitty, poor sketch. But he was the one that ran with it. He really made it awesome. And I love that it's as bleak as it is, because it kind of represents the album. Like, at face value, it's very bleak, but I think if you sit with it and you take the time and you really examine the detail of the record, you actually realize it's a pretty complex story there.
Yeah, it does. And I like the idea how the bleakness of the album cover just fits really well. And that's what I probably liked about the art. It wasn't overdone. You see some of these album arts and they look great, but they're just overdone with all these different images all over the place. This one just matches
really
perfectly with the red skull head, and he's got his hand out and he's got the skeleton sitting on it, just with that look, kind of that sullen look, and down on his elbows on his knees. It just fits spot on, bro.
Well, yeah, I think God Machine is really able to capture the theme of this band in a piece of art, and he definitely did it.
Yeah, and the Corn cover, Dead Bodies Everywhere, man. When that dropped, I had that sent over to me from Nuclear and John, man, and I had to rip that up on the show, and I think I played it every night for about 3 nights in a row, man. It was just cool as bloody hell. I was a Corn fan as well, but when I heard that, man, I'm like, this is fucking dope. Carnifex have made this their own.
Yeah, I think, and you kind of said it. We actually had been working on another cover, and we recorded it and everything. It was Cannibal Corpse's Hammer Smashed Face, but we ultimately decided not to do it because we just couldn't really make it more brutal. It's like, yeah, sure, we can re-record it, but it's kind of the same song, and that's how we ended up on Dead Bodies Everywhere. It was like, well, look, like, this song I think could work really well if we put our fingerprints on it, and Sean did the adaptation for it, and I think what he added to it is Carnifex, and it's kind of this perfect mesh of, like, what if Carnifex was a new metal band, or something. I don't know. It's kind of just having fun and just really saying, like, we don't want an atonal album. We want a record that takes many different shapes and forms and is interesting for an hour. And so, yeah, it was kind of just going back to being more carefree and just saying, we love the song and we want to have a good time playing it. Let's hope you guys do too.
Yeah, I feel that with Carnifex, and the fans are really going to dig this. You're just doing what feels right for you and not trying to fit tick any boxes or fill any labels. You're ripping out Carnifex and you've just made one fucking barnstormer of an album.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and talking about live, man, you were saying you're missing live, and I know you've probably got some shows planned, but you got to wait. What's one of the biggest things you're missing most about playing live?
Well, really, it's that connection with the fans, man. It's like, I don't really have a whole lot of friends. I know the guys in the band are kind of, and then other guys on tour when we're on the road, but I haven't been on the road. So I've been feeling pretty, like, isolated, not just from, my livelihood and my art, but, like, also from the community I enjoy. Like, I used to go to shows all the time before I was performing. So not having that has just been tough. And even though it's not like, maybe these people aren't your best friends and you don't know them forever, but just the camaraderie or just enjoying something together, it just kind of it's made me feel even more isolated than normal. And I already kind of feel like an isolated person, but it's really compounded those feelings, definitely.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of metalheads have felt that way, and I've even felt that way, even through all these interviews and these conversations I've managed to have with bands all over the world. We've kind of touched on this at various points about the anxiety of sitting at home, and yes, we are all one community, and we're kind of missing that interaction where we can get out there and play live shows and have that connection with the fans and the bands, and even merch. You know what I mean? Like getting over, and fans will come over to the merch stand, say good day, and buy some merch.
Absolutely,
and,
yeah.
We're just not having that, and as metalheads we do kind of isolate ourselves a lot.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like we sort of isolate ourselves from the world, but we're cool to be around each other, but we haven't been able to be around each other, so we're just isolated. And so I've definitely felt that. So I'm looking forward to breaking that, getting back on the road, and just kind of being a part of it again, because right now it just feels like just so separated.
It does. And I want to touch on the three tracks you re-recorded from Dead in My Arms, The Slit Wrist Savior, My Heart and Atrophy, and Collaborating Like Killers, man. Really well done. And it would have been fun, I suppose, to go back and revisit that and make those tracks again, eh?
Yeah, it was fun. And I think it was also, we tried to have the samples on there, the original ones. We weren't able to keep them all on there, because of legal stuff. But for us, it was really kind of just trying to show the through line, which is, you can listen to the first 12 songs, and that's where we're at now. And you can listen to those 3 songs and see where we came from. And I think what you'll see is through all these years, like, it's just us. We're not chasing a sound. We're not trying to be another band. We're just Carnifex.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've really respected as a fan of the band as well. Carnifex has always just fucking done what they do best and just rip out some brutal death metal, man. And that's another thing, like this Graveside Confessions, as you said, kind of comes back to just having fun with that death metal and just ripping out the great tunes. And I think coming up on, 15 years as well for that album you were talking about, the first one.
Yeah, it's right there. Some of like Slit Wrist Savior and My Heart and Atrophy, for example. Those songs were on a demo we did in 2006, and I think Slit Wrist Savior and My Heart and Atrophy were probably like the 4th and 5th songs that we wrote ever. Going all the way back to the beginning. So yeah, that's kind of the original sound right there.
Yeah, and we're coming up. Are they you've got vinyl and everything for this as well? One thing I'm loving about heavy metal, and I've gone back and bought like 2020 when that shit hit and I couldn't go to gigs, as we're saying, we can't go to gigs, we can't have that connection. I went and got myself a record player and started buying like fucking death metal on vinyl, man. There's nothing.
Oh, nice. You
can't beat it, dude. And just you rip it out, you put it in there, and you have this sense of connection with the album that kind of gets forgotten a little bit with these streaming fucking cycles, you know what I mean? Where you're putting an album and you connect it to that album from track 1, you go, hey, you gotta flip it over and you're on the next, and you're just connected still with that artist and that album, and things that kind of do get bloody lost in the streaming cycle. So for me, when I can come across albums like this and just dive right into it head first and just play it from start to finish and come back to the start again, you just can't fuck with it.
No, there's something to kind of the art of it, and you kind of think of it as art as a physical medium, whereas I think now music is kind of just turned into content, which is just a consumable, which I think there's a big distinction between the two. So hopefully we could still put out art in spite of it being a consumable. I hope people take the time to sit with it, because there definitely is a lot of intention in it. It's not meant to just be, I hit the single and I moved on. Like, if that's what you're doing, then I guess just, stick with other bands or something, but for us, it's more about trying to bring people into the world and letting them know, like, hey, there's a lot here. And if you can relate to it, I hope you get a lot out of it.
Yeah, man, the guitar melodies and the solos and this are just bloody fucking unbloody real as well with Corey, man. He's just stepped it up a notch, man. It's just unreal on this album.
He really did. Yeah, I'm real proud of him.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite track off the album, man? I know I'm sure it's going to probably change week to week, but at the moment, which one's your favorite track on the album and why, dude?
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know. Favorite track? I don't know. That's tough. I do like the title track, Graveside. That's, I think that's kind of, it became the title track because it was my favorite, you know what I mean? So I guess it'd probably be Graveside. I think Cemetery of Wander is really good. Talk to the Dead is really good. Cold Dead Summer is also good. I don't know. I tried to invest as much as I could into each one of them. So it's kind of hard to pick a favorite. I think they all came out pretty wonderful though.
Yeah, that Cemetery Wander, I think it is. Or is it January Nights? That one that sits really nice. It's kind of that real instrumental one, sits in the middle, man. That was
January Nights. Yeah,
that was a cool track, dude. I was sitting here, and then the first time I heard it on the first playthrough, I'm like, damn, that is really, really cool, man. You almost have this moment of introspection right in the middle of the album there.
It is. Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's why we put it there. It was to give that moment to think, and to reflect in a different way. And, that was a great song that Corey wrote. And I don't know, it just captured the emotions of the album because he wrote it alongside all this other brutal shit that he was writing, and he was just feeling it. And it was like, you know what? That should go on the record, I think.
Yeah.
And, you know, as like us trying to chase this, you know, absolute of art, trying to chase truth inside art. I think that if that's what you were feeling while you were writing it, then somehow it goes with this music. And so we should put it on the album.
Yeah, it sat really, really bloody well. And I love when I get into albums like that and you're just totally lost in it. And then a track comes on like that. And you do have those moments where your thoughts, you're traveling through the music into other places as well. So it sit really bloody well, Scott.
Wonderful. I see, that's what we were going for. So to hear that, you know, that's kind of our whole point for existing.
That's it. I'm going to let you get about the rest of your morning. I know you've had a few interviews there, man. This has been an absolute
is it time
pleasure.
already?
Yeah, it's getting pretty close, man. I'll let you get about it.
Okay.
Get a coffee into it, man. Thank you very much for making some time to have a chat with myself, Crank, and that metal station. Did you have any last words, shout outs, or anything you'd like to add in there, my friend?
Just enjoy the record. Stream it where you can. Of course, if you enjoy it, try to get a copy of it on CD, tape, or vinyl, or buy a t-shirt. You know, all those things go a long way in helping us.
Everyone grab Carnifex, Graveside Confession. It drops September 3rd through a nuclear blast. You're going to want to put it in the stereos, turn it up really fucking loud because the neighbors are going to want to hear this too. Cheers, bro. You have a great evening. Thank you very much. Hey, legends, how the bloody hell are you going? If you like that interview and you want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. Keeps me doing what I'm doing and make you a bloody legend. Ripper. Too right, mate.